Philadelphia, 2024, the city is in chaos. Fires rage across blocks, buildings are torn open, people run for their lives. Then we cut back to 1988, when it all began. In one horrifying moment across the city, several people dropped dead at the same time. Blood pouring from their noses, eyes, ears, and mouths. A pianist at a recital, a middle-aged cook, a bus driver who loses control and triggers a street-wide panic. In the confusion, a mysterious woman in a blue jacket, Raya, pushes through the terrified crowd as bodies fall around her. And from that moment, everything changed. In the shadow of the moon. Across town, a young cop named Locke wakes hungry in the night. He lives with his wife, Jean, who is heavily pregnant. The news is already looping the bus crash. No one knows why the driver died. After fixing Jean a quick dinner, Locke heads out with his partner, Maddox. At the scene, he examines the driver's body. The blood, he notices, is not from a wound. There are brain fragments, and on the back of the neck, 3 tiny punctures. Detective Holt arrives too, Jean's brother and Locke's brother-in-law. Together, Locke, Maddox, and Holt check 2 more victims found elsewhere in the city. Same catastrophic brain hemorrhage, same 3 small punctures behind the neck. Holt tells Locke to stay out of the investigation. This is his case. Locke ignores him and keeps digging with Maddox. They head to the hospital to ask the medical examiner. The doctor has been warned off by Holt, so he only shares the minimum. The neck marks are deep injection sites that pierce bone. No one can identify the chemical in the victims' bodies. It is something no doctor has seen before. Over a late meal, Locke and Maddox puzzle through the clues. Then a call comes in. A woman at a nightclub, Candace, has just been attacked at the back of her neck. They rush over. Candace shows the same 3 punctures, and she describes her attacker, a black woman in a blue jacket with an injured left hand, which matches Raya. Holt arrives to question her, but Candace suddenly starts bleeding from the eyes and dies on the spot. Police scramble and in the confusion, begin detaining random black women in blue clothing nearby. Meanwhile, officers confront Raya as she tries to break into a car. She bolts and runs straight into Locke and Maddox. Locke spots the wound on her left hand and knows they have their suspect. The chase spills into the streets. A truck blocks the road, so Locke and Maddox sprint on foot, weaving through shops. They split up when Raya vanishes until Locke catches sight of her slipping into the subway. He radios for a perimeter and moves in. On the platform, he finds the attacker's weapon. It looks advanced, far too advanced for 1988. Maddox spots Raya and rushes in, but the fight ends quickly. She's far too skilled. Within seconds, she overpowers him and snaps his leg. Locke keeps chasing through the underground station until he corners her. Then something strange happens. Raya calls him by name, as if she already knows him. She tells him this is where the incident will happen, congratulates him on the birth of his daughter, and apologizes for what happened to his partner. Locke is stunned, unable to understand how she could possibly know any of that. When he tries to arrest her, Raya fights back, managing to cuff him instead. But Locke still has the strange, high-tech weapon he found earlier. He uses it on her, piercing her neck. Raya stumbles back, falling onto the tracks, and a train slams through the station before anyone can react. Her body is later found crushed beyond recognition. As the police secure the scene, Locke gets word from the hospital. Jean is in labor. He rushes there, still shaken. On the way, an officer reports that Raya had no identification, no fingerprints in any system, and was carrying a strange key in her pocket. Even stranger, a bullet found in her hand matches the exact caliber from Locke's own gun, even though he never fired it. At the hospital, things take a tragic turn. Jean suffers a severe complication. Her placenta has detached, and she's losing a lot of blood. Locke stays by her side, trying to comfort her, giving her a bracelet he just bought as a small gift of hope. But her condition worsens. Despite the doctor's efforts, Jean doesn't survive. Her baby girl, however, makes it through. Locke names her Amy. 9 years pass. Locke is now a detective, raising Amy alone. On her birthday morning, news channels replay footage of protests marking 9 years since Raya's mysterious death. The public still blames the police, demanding answers. Amy makes breakfast for her dad, and Locke gives her a small bracelet charm, something he's done every year. Together, they visit Jean's grave, but this time someone else has already left flowers and seashells on it. Just then, Locke gets a call. Another murder. The victim's body bears the same marks as the killings from 9 years ago. Locke cancels his plans with Amy and goes to the scene, joined by Maddox, now a detective himself, but permanently limping, from his encounter with Raya years earlier. Holt arrives too, now a lieutenant. They check the CCTV footage, and what they see stuns them. A woman in a blue jacket, moving in the same way as Raya. The team assumes she's one of the fanatics obsessed with the unsolved case, imitating Raya's style and methods. Then another victim turns up, a woman killed while waiting in line at a bank. Locke digs out the old case files, studying every detail, especially the advanced weapon Raya used. He tells Maddox about that night years ago, how Raya knew about his daughter before she was even born, and how she said they'd meet again. After Raya's death, the killing stopped, so the case was left unsolved. But now with the pattern repeating, Locke feels something isn't right. The key found on Raya's body might be the only clue left, and he's determined to find out what it unlocks. While Locke urges the department to keep the case quiet to avoid public panic, Holt does the opposite. He holds a press conference, revealing security footage of a possible suspect connected to the killings 9 years earlier. The city is warned to stay alert, as the suspect is still out there and likely armed. There's no clear link between the victims, no pattern to follow. But Locke notices something that chills him. The new suspect also has an injury on her left hand, just like Raya did years ago. That detail was never made public, so how could a copycat possibly know it? Then comes another strange discovery. The key found on Raya's body 9 years ago matches a Falcon 160 aircraft, a model that wasn't even built until 1996. Yet Raya was killed in 1988. The mystery deepens, and Locke's mind races. That same night, he and Maddox head to a small airfield where one of those planes might be kept. Before leaving, Locke asks a fellow officer to look after his daughter Amy. But before they can even reach the hangar, an older man shows up at the station looking for them. His name is Naveen, a physicist. He warns them about something extraordinary. According to Naveen, both Raya and the new killer appear only when the moon is at its closest point to Earth, an event that happens once every 9 years. During that rare lunar cycle, he says, gravity interacts with Earth's magnetic field to create a kind of bridge that allows someone to move between times. In simple terms, Naveen believes the killer can travel through time every 9 years. Locke and Maddox think it sounds insane and brush him off, heading to the airfield anyway. When they arrive, Locke climbs over the fence and finds a lone worker on duty. The man looks nervous. Locke quickly realizes the suspect might be nearby, so he quietly signals the worker with a note, instructing him to scratch his head if someone else is inside and to point to the direction discreetly. The man nods, and when he gestures, Locke follows his eyes. Standing in the shadows is Raya, alive. She hasn't aged a single day. She orders the worker to tie Locke's hands and demands the keys to a plane. A struggle breaks out. Maddox tries to help, but in the chaos, he's shot and killed. Raya knocks Locke unconscious and takes off with him aboard the plane, just as Holt and the police arrive on scene. When Locke wakes up mid-flight, Raya tells him to stop chasing her. Every life she's taken, she says, was to save countless others. Maddox's death was an accident. She explains that every 9 years, when the moon sets at its closest point, she can briefly return to the past. Her time is almost up. She doesn't give full details, only that Locke will never understand and must let it go for his own sake. Then with one final look, she unties him and pushes him out of the plane into the dark ocean below. Moments later, her aircraft crashes along the shoreline. When police arrive at dawn, the wreck is there, but Raya is gone without a trace. By the next morning, Holt and the rest of the police arrive at the crash site. Locke tells them flat out that they will never find Raya because she came from the future. Holt does not believe a single word of it. 9 years pass. It is now 2006, and Locke has spiraled into full obsession. He has left the police force and works as a private investigator, but his entire life revolves around the mystery of Raya. His home is gone, sold off to pay for his search. He sleeps in his car. His daughter Amy now lives with Holt and is in her final year of high school. Locke, exhausted and unkempt, spends his nights digging up the grave of an undocumented victim from 1988, a man named Harold Nowak. He photographs the same deep puncture wounds drilled into the bone at the back of the neck. Naveen, the physicist who once tried to warn him, has vanished. Remembering Naveen's theory, Locke buries himself in studying astronomy and the lunar cycles that might explain Raya's appearances. The next day, Locke visits Harold's widow, Arlene. Years ago, police ruled Harold's death as a drug overdose, but Locke now knows the truth, that Raya killed him. Arlene shows him Harold's old belongings, letters, notebooks, propaganda materials. It turns out Harold was the leader of a large extremist group with a radical ideology and members spread across the region. There is also a photo of Harold with a woman named Heather, one of his close associates. Arlene hands over a list of addresses connected to the group. When Locke looks through it, he realizes something shocking. Every victim Raya killed belonged to Harold's militant network. Later that day, Locke picks up Amy from school. On the drive to Holt's house, he tries to reassure her. He promises that once he finishes what he started, everything will return to normal. They will live a quiet, happy life again, just like before. It is her birthday, so he gives her the same bracelet charm he buys every year. But now that she is older, she no longer wears them. She keeps them tucked away instead. Amy tries not to cry. She can see how deeply her father has drowned himself in the case, unable to move on from Raya, even after almost 2 decades. After visiting Jean's grave, Locke meets up with Holt and lays out everything he has uncovered. He explains that Harold was not some random overdose case, but the leader of a militant group, and that Raya had actually killed him back in 1988. Because Harold died outside Philadelphia's jurisdiction, the local police never looked deeper and dismissed it as a drug incident. In reality, Harold's group had been preparing to seize power and was already making explosives. Locke believes the weapon Raya used carried a deadly chemical that could be controlled remotely from the future. And based on Naveen's old theory, he is convinced Raya can only travel back in time every 9 years for a specific mission, which means she was still alive in 1997 even though she died in 1988, and now in 2006 she should appear again. Holt wants nothing to do with it. To him, Locke sounds completely unhinged, dragging up an unsolved case from almost 2 decades ago and mixing it with time travel. Holt already has a full workload and no patience for theories that sound impossible. But Locke refuses to back down. He insists Raya still poses a threat and needs to be stopped. He needs Holt's help to find Heather's address, Harold's old associate. Since Holt refuses and instead tells him to see a psychiatrist, Locke pretends to break down. He cries, plays the part of a man who regrets everything he has done. Feeling guilty, Holt tries to comfort him. In that moment, Locke quietly slips Holt's ID card from his pocket. With it, he tracks down Heather's home. When he gets there, it is already too late. Heather has been killed, her body still fresh. Footsteps upstairs reveal someone else is inside. Raya is still there. Locke fires and hits her left hand, and suddenly everything clicks. That is why she had the same injury in 1997 and in 1988. Raya escapes the house, and Locke steals a passing car to chase her. The pursuit leads through abandoned buildings and finally back to the same beach where her plane crashed 9 years earlier. This time, Locke sees something he never noticed before. Raya slips into a massive drainage pipe, and deep inside is a large cylindrical chamber, her time travel capsule. Locke rushes in, but he is too late. Raya's already inside, the chamber filling with water. In seconds, the entire capsule vanishes, pulled back 9 years into the past. Locke stumbles out of the pipe only to find Holt and the police waiting. They arrest him immediately. Up on a hill, unseen by the others, Naveen watches everything play out. Another 9 years pass. It is now 2015. Naveen, who disappeared years ago, has built a hidden laboratory deep in the woods. Dozens of pigs fill the pens as he continues running experiments. This latest one is number 32. And finally, he succeeds. Naveen has created an incredibly lethal chemical weapon, the same one that Raya will one day use on her mission. As he studies the results, he can barely contain his excitement. His life's work has finally come together. Locke waits by the shoreline, watching the night fade as he tracks the exact moment the moon will set. Based on all his calculations, Raya will appear at 5:31 the next morning. Not far away, Holt has already retired, ending his career as Philadelphia's police chief. While Locke keeps his eyes on the horizon, he receives a voice message from Amy. Her baby is about to be born, and she hopes her father will come see them. She also tells him she hopes he can finally finish the mission that has consumed his entire life. But before Locke can move, he is suddenly taken by Naveen. The physicist tries to stop him from killing Raya. According to Naveen, Raya is not a murderer. She is a hero from the future. She came to the past to prevent disaster, and the weapon he created was meant for her to use in that mission. Naveen believes that every person she killed, or their future descendants, would one day trigger catastrophic events. Raya has been traveling back every 9 years, eliminating the right targets one by one, trying to fix the future before it collapses. Locke refuses to believe any of it. Quietly, he saws through his restraints using a pig's tooth on the floor of the car. Then he fights Naveen, and their vehicle flips in a violent crash. Locke manages to crawl out, but Naveen is trapped inside. Dawn is coming fast. Locke runs toward the beach, determined to stop Raya once and for all. At exactly 5:31, just as he predicted, Raya appears for the first time in her own timeline. Locke confronts her, saying that if he kills her now, everything she did in the past will be erased. Raya tells him that if he kills her, the world will collapse because no one else can save it. Locke has no idea what the future truly holds. Then she looks closely at his face. Recognition hits her. Locke is her grandfather. She tells him she remembers being a child, how he once taught her to ride a bike, and how she wore a charm bracelet from her mother, the same bracelet Locke used to give Amy every year. The weight of it all crushes Locke. He realizes he killed his own granddaughter 27 years earlier. Raya gently reassures him. If he saw her die in the past, then that moment is fixed. It cannot be undone. All she asks now is for him to protect her mother, Amy, and to take care of the child she is about to bring into the world. At the end of the story, Raya finally reveals the truth about the future she came from. She explains that when she was 9 years old in the year 2024, a member of a militant group detonated a massive bomb in the center of the city. The explosion was so powerful, it killed 11,000 people in an instant. And that tragedy was only the beginning. What followed were years of escalating violence, spreading unrest, and eventually a full-scale civil war that claimed millions of lives. By 2042, Raya was 27 and already a highly trained soldier. Determined to stop the chain reaction that destroyed her world, she volunteered for a dangerous mission, one that required her to travel back in time and eliminate key individuals whose actions, or the actions of their descendants, would one day ignite the catastrophe. Naveen, who went on to build one of the most advanced tech companies of the future, supplied her with the time travel chamber and the deadly weapon she used on her targets. Raya carried out the mission across several time jumps, removing each person linked to the rise of violent extremism. And in 1988, she reached the origin point of the future disaster, Harold Nowak, the leader of the militant group. His death was the first step toward reshaping fate. Back in the present, Locke arrives at the hospital just in time to see Amy give birth. He holds the newborn Raya in his arms, overwhelmed by the weight of everything he now knows. This tiny baby, his granddaughter, will grow up to save millions, sacrificing herself to rewrite the future. So the moral of the story is, if your future granddaughter ever shows up trying to save humanity, maybe don't shoot her first and ask questions later.